are there different documents required between a drawback if you're claiming that you've destroyed merchandise or if you've just exported the merchandise?
That is a nitty-gritty question. I used to work at a brokerage firm, but it was a long time ago. I think that the answer is yes, especially because destruction generally has to be done under custom supervision. And I know there used to be different forms, but now with the change from ACE, as well as from non-CTIA to CTIA drawback, I don't know that answer with 100% certainty offhand. I don't know if you do, Adam, but I would imagine there are different forms, or at least the form has to be filled out differently.
I was going to say, from a form perspective, we're really talking about the same form, right? We have the 7551 and the 7553. But so from a form perspective, but it's really that backup documentation and that notice part that starts to change, right? From an export perspective, we provide notice to customs. We have to give them 72 hours to say yes or no, we want to examine that product. Assuming they don't, we're allowed to just export that product. It doesn't have to be under custom supervision. Once that product's exported, we can provide our paperwork and submit our final drawback claim. In that export scenario, kind of like you talked about, in the destruction scenario, the majority of time that we look at a destruction option, it is in that customs wants to supervise it, because customs idea of destruction and our importer's idea of destruction may not always be the same thing. A great example, you talked about alcohol earlier, is that if you want to destroy alcohol, customs will want to physically watch you break the bottles in the dumpster. Because just throwing them in a dumpster does not mean that you've destroyed those items. Now, whether you and I would go dumpster diving to drink, it's a different question, right? But as far as what customs thinks as actual destruction, that doesn't count. So we see it with textiles, how they have to be cut and ripped in a certain way, right? So they can't be stuck back together. So when we start talking about destruction, there are a lot more caveats to some of that than there is on the export side. Destruction is also very difficult to claim in that waiver of prior notice. We've done it a few times. We've done it because there's been certificates of destruction. There's been pictures. There's been a lot that came from that destruction company. But in a lot of instances, we've seen that customs doesn't allow those items simply because they can't really prove that they were destroyed. So